I love checking out the local bookstores and supporting local businesses.
Smell good.
Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am Sammy, Sam Marie, Samantha Marie a lot, if you will. Today we're ranking bookstores, indie bookstores in Washington, DC. This is a little book series that I've started here on this channel, okay? Ranking indie bookstores in different cities that we've traveled to. We're in Washington, DC for HYROX DC 2026 mixed doubles. My loving husband had the wonderful idea of, hey, why don't we add another addition to this series while we're in DC, because what an opportunity. And this is our lovely little book stock. Listen, I know my physical TBR is ever growing, but I am ever reading. What is the fun in walking into independent bookstores if I'm not going to support them? Okay, we stopped at mostly independent bookstores, but I won't lie, we did stop at the Barnes & Noble because it just looked so beautiful and so gorgeous that it had to be done. Okay, so we're going to start off there. Just a disclosure, this is like nothing serious. These rankings are not serious. All of these were a wonderful time and I would frequent all of them if I lived here. All of these are a 5-star experience. Oh my goodness, people are doing shakeout runs. Oh, what a sense of community. In terms of ranking them, it's just like what my preference was. Obviously, Barnes & Noble does not go into the ranking. It's not an independently owned bookstore, but their Barnes & Noble did eat down. It did eat down, but again, not very serious. This is just for fun. It's really just a tour of bookstores, and maybe that's really what I should call it. We are going to start at Barnes & Noble. It was our last stop of the night. It's kind of an honorable mention. It doesn't really get ranked or anything. Quite an experience when we first got there. We did watch a hit and run, but we went inside and this is a 3-story Barnes, kind of giving Union Square, New York City Barnes. It is very like rustic, cozy. It was once a garage and we've elevated it. We've made it cozy and comfortable, and it was so cool. You walk in and there is all of the new releases. In the back, that's where your journals, your your calendars, your planners, they're all in the back there. And then closer to the cash register, they have loads and loads and loads of Legos, like the most Legos I've ever seen at a Barnes & Noble before. We headed on to the second floor. Second floor had a lot of romance section. There was the classics. They had a lot of different editions of classics at this Barnes. Fantasy, thrillers, and mysteries. And I believe the young adult and kids was on this floor too. And then the next floor was a lot of like nonfiction, biographies, world history, business books. Not really where I typically find myself, but it was a floor that Brian could do on while I do elsewhere. And it was a fantastic time. I mean, a 5 out of 5 Barnes. While I was there, I did get 2 books. The reason being was one of the bookstores we went to, and I'll explain why I didn't get something there, but I didn't. And Brian was like, well, if you want 2 things, there was a bookstore that you didn't get anything at, so you should just double it, right? We love a supportive king. I need some munchable books, and so that's what we did there. I got Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. Of course, we've all heard about this at this point. Are we sick of hearing about it? Absolutely not. This follows 2 rival hockey players. Guys, I gotta be on the bandwagon. I do not care about being niche or cool. I want to be on the bandwagon, and all the girlies are at the cottage, and I'd like to join. So I did get this. And then I also got Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me. Listen, I just like wasn't a major fan after Part of Your World, but yours truly, and then to top it all off, Just for the Summer changed my life. So I'm an Abby Jimenez fan through and through. She gets me, I get her. This is basically my close and personal friend at this point. I don't really know a whole bunch about like this specific storyline, and I know the female main character is dealing with taking care of a sick parent. So I think she's gonna like knee me in the jugular with this one as well and just rip my heart out. Now I'm just gonna kind of talk about the bookstores in order of when we went to them. We are coming from Wheeling, West Virginia, and the drive to Alexandria, Virginia is the same as it was to DC. So we started low and we traveled our way up because there's a lot of good bookstores down in Virginia. Alexandria and Arlington are basically like little offshoots of DC. It was nowhere near out of the way. If you're in DC, I think it's totally worth it to travel to these places to go get a book. It's like 15 to 20 minutes minutes away. We started in Alexandria and we went to Old Town Books. Old Town Books was spectacular. Again, a 5 out of 5 time. So Old Town Books is definitely browsable, shoppable, lots and lots of options, super duper cute. It's separated into 4 separate rooms. You walk in the door, there is an offshoot to the left, but that's where we probably spent the least of our time. But that's one big room and it's all young adult, it's all children's. It's such a cute setup for the kids. And then you walk into really the heaviest part of the bookstore, and right in the beginning is a bunch of new releases, new books they just got in, special editions. They have quite the selection of booksellers picks, which I love to see. I think if you're just like going to a bookstore and you have no idea what you want in mind, what better way to find a book than from the booksellers themselves? They're the ones going through all these packages of books, organizing them, deciding what they think would be good to read, then reading them, reviewing them. And I just think that's such a fantastic way, especially for people who are just getting into reading. You don't know your taste yet, and somebody's basically like, hey, if you think this would be your taste, read this book. The next room is a room full of romance. And then the back room was nonfiction and then like arts and crafts. They had the coolest, we took a video of it, but they had these really cool watercolor coloring books. I would have loved to get one, but in all honesty, I don't think that'd be something I'd actually use or get to. Like, I've definitely gotten color books and I've colored one page and haven't touched them since. I think it was such a cool and creative idea. And then they had just like drinks and root beers for sale in the back room, which was, I mean, root beer is the easiest way to my heart, okay? Ooh, the surrounding area was super duper cute. You could just park there and walk and shop for a little bit. You could get coffee. There's so many little bakeries. There's this cute little like chocolate bar. They had a rewards program. I just loved the walkability, how comfortable it was inside of there. It definitely gives like, you could have your AirPods in and browse there. And I want to say there was a girly in there who had her headphones in and was just like browsing, having herself a day. Wait, let me tell you what I got at that bookstore. While I was there, I took it as a sign because it was the last copy in this bookstore, but I got Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I put this on my unrealistic 26 books to read in 2026, I think. If I didn't, just know that I thought about doing that. This is probably one of the most popular sci-fi series. This is not up my alley whatsoever. I mean, I would never even think of picking this up. I don't receive book recommendations in my personal life very often. I've had 2 people in my personal life ask me to read this, and that would just be so mean of me not to. So I'm going to now. And like looking at it, I know people say this is super intimidating, but it's like a pretty small book. So I'm not that intimidated anymore. Just be aware you're in the background, so don't pick your nose or anything.
Oh, okay. Because I can feel one too.
One other thing that I love about an indie bookstore, and one such a smart way for advertisement for them too, I think, is giving a bookmark with every purchase, because then they can put their socials on there, their address. So that's extra points in my book. Then again, one of my favorite parts about Old Town Books was the walkability, and we walked over to Friends and Lovers, which is also obviously in Alexandria since we walked there. Friends to Lovers is a new indie bookstore. We overheard that they had just opened up in April of 2025. They're about to hit their 1 year, so I'm interested to see like what they're planning to do for their 1 year, because what a cool little thing to celebrate. Well, not a little thing. I mean, that's a pretty major thing. This is a romance-only, romance-themed bookstore, and it was a cute one at that. Listen, I love fantasy. I love literary fiction, but there's nothing that will bring me the comfort that a romance book will bring me. And so going into a store like this, I love that it feels like just such a judgment-free zone. The comfort and safety you feel there as a girl, I think, is just none other. Of course, when it's a romance-only bookstore, instead of being separated into totally different genres, it's separated into tropes, specific niches and genres of romance. So like contemporary romance, new release romance, erotica romance. And oh my goodness, the merch at this place, they had so much merch. They had hats, mugs, cups, stickers, Kindle inserts. I've never seen a Kindle insert at a shop. I just thought people made those in their own time. Bookmarks, stickers, sweatshirts. Did I say sweatshirts already? I don't know. I probably should have bought something like that. But when we first walked in, there was something else that caught my eye that I needed to have. And I was like, what better place to buy this book than at the romance only bookstore? Oh, and they had the most gorgeous seating area area. It gives the energy that you could buy your book and sit there and hang out and read for a little while. 10 out of 10 experience. I'm not going book shopping and not buying this book of all books, Just Friends by Haley Pham. This is not what got me back into reading, this particular influencer, but she introduced me to the world of Booktube. So now seeing her come out with a debut novel is just absolutely sickening. How cool is that? All of the first prints that she's giving out are going to have in the last chapter. She annotated one of the chapters. So when I purchased this, of course, the bookseller was like, do you know who Haley Pham is? Like, we were just so interested if people were going to come in and get this or what the vibe was going to be with getting a book with an influencer. I mean, they nailed it again. Bookmark with your book purchase. And this is probably the cutest bookmark I think I've ever received for free from an indie bookstore. And then they have their socials on the back. I know it's friends to lovers, second chance romance. They were friends growing up. They departed for some time and now they've rekindled said friendship. And her dedication is so sweet. It says, for Ryan, who made my life a romance book before I discovered them. Shut up. Another 10 out of 10 experience. Now it was time for us to depart. We drove 15 minutes to Arlington, but this was on our way to DC. Daydrift Cafe. And this was definitely radiated like the most bougie place that we went to. It was like elegant. I did not purchase a book here because it's also a cafe. And we got a coffee. I got a 16-ounce iced pistachio honey latte with oat milk. Brian got a salted caramel cold brew. My drink was like a 10 out of 10. It was delicious. It was exactly how I like my coffee. Probably like in my top 5 coffees I've ever had, period. End of story. The consistency was so good. The viscosity was so good. But this is a coffee shop, a cafe, and a bookstore. You get coffee, you get pastries, but they also have like full food menu items. It had so many tables, a lot of seating area, a lot of cozy chairs. Everybody in there was vibing. Vibes were high. Everybody was happy. I mean, I saw people with books in their hands laughing, like reading their book, headphones on. I saw people like talking together about their books, laughing, having fun, people working on their laptops. Now, the book selection, there was a little bit of a book selection and it looked like it was good. However, when we went, it was very busy. There was no browsability. So that was like the only caveat. I would never go there, I don't think, to just like look around and browse the books. I would go there. I was telling Brian, I think the perfect situation for this specific bookstore would be if it was a Saturday or Sunday morning. We want coffee, we want breakfast, and we want to just like relax and have a chill Zen morning. We could go there, but I would need to know kind of like ahead of time what book I was wanting to get, I think. Look at the books, get the book that I want, purchase it, and sit down and have it with my meal, which is probably like kind of what they want you to do. But something else really cool that they do is they have events, author events, of course, like most bookstores, but they also just have like separate events. So they were closing at 6 the day that we went. They were closing at 6 yesterday because they were having a trivia night, a game night, silent reading night. They had a bunch of activities and giveaways going on that you had to sign up for in advance. I think that's really cool, especially if you had like just freshly moved here and you're a reader and you really wanted to like find a community who was into reading along with you. I think that would be a very cool thing. This was a really unique and cool experience. If I lived there, my bank account would be empty because I would be getting my coffees from there every single day. I cannot do at home what they did. Points for having a bathroom, because at this time we really both had to go to the bathroom and they had one, so we exercised our right to use that bathroom. But then we headed into DC and we had 2 more bookstores to go to there. The first one was Lost City Books. This was a 20-minute drive from Arlington into the city. Lost City, oh my goodness, I did write down how stressed we were driving in from Arlington to the city. There was like a double yellow line, but people were crossing it. And if you're from DC, like let me know, but we don't do that where we're from. So I was confused. Driving experience here is way harder than New York. I don't know if that's like a well-known fact. It was super cozy, gorgeous. It was very popular and very busy. It's in a big shopping area too. There's like a McDonald's right there, and then like some local restaurants, some bars. There was a couple floors, and the first floor that you walk into, of course, you walk right in, and first thing is you see the new releases right when you walk in, and then they have a lot of just like general fiction organized and alphabetized. They have a whole section in the middle that has their most popular sellers, the most popular books that they sell, and then you go upstairs, and upstairs has a lot of nonfiction, educational books, travel books, business, economics, back past that, there's this little alcove that has sci-fi, fantasy, romance, and horror. And so that is kind of where I was browsing for books the most. That was a nice bookstore. It was gorgeous. It definitely gives the vibe of browsability, walkability, stroll around. You could have your headphones in and walk around in there, even if it's busy. Brian said that it radiated New York energy to him, like it gave New York vibes. But we did get a book while we were there, and that was, I've heard this pronounced two ways, Babel and Babel by R.F. Kuang. Another, I mean, I just feel like all of her, she is like back-to-back bangers. I don't feel like any of her books are not popular at this point. I'm obviously reading The Poppy War right now, if I could shut up about it for 2 seconds. I love the writing style. I love the world building. I love the messaging in it. Because of that, I am going to start getting into more of her books. I know there's Yellowface as well, and I will read that. It just doesn't pique my interest as much as The Poppy War and this book do. It's definitely a book that like you see a split on, and I think that's so fun to read a book where there is such a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Divide. There's a divide on whether people love it or hate it, and it's so fun to see where you fall along the lines of it. So that's the book I got there. What's an indie bookstore without their cutie little bookmarks? This is probably my second favorite of the day. This one's a bit more aesthetic. Fantastic experience. I'm going to talk about one last, and then we'll do the reveal of what was Brian's favorite bookstore of the day. Last one was, we were trying to see if we could walk there, and we could have if it was like a daytime adventure, but it was a 20-minute walk, and we were nearing the end of the night. Sun was down. We don't know the area, so we decided, why don't we just drive? Second Story Books, also, of course, in Washington, D.C. This is a secondhand bookstore. It's two types of secondhand. It is cheap, used, returned type of secondhand. There's like books anywhere from like $8 to $10. And then it's the other type of secondhand, collector's editions, special editions, signed copies that are $80, $90, $200. I mean, I don't know what the most expensive, I think the most expensive I saw was maybe like $235.
There's a Breaking Bad magazine for $2,500. I took a picture of it. There was a First Great Gatsby edition for $5,000. I remember seeing
a First Great Gatsby edition for $5,000. This was definitely a cool setup. It's just like lines and lines and lines and lines of books, and it's kind of the same thing that the Strand gave, where you get so deep in the bookshelves it gets quieter and quieter as you go back and back. It definitely gives browsability. Put your headphones on, take your time, look around for whatever book you want to find, because you're going to have to look for a little bit, but it's super chill, comfy. Oh, there's a lot of food in the surrounding area, so if you stopped here and then wanted to get dinner afterwards, you had plenty of options. And then also, if you're looking to sell your used books, you can sell your books there too. But yeah, I didn't end up getting anything there just because, again, it's secondhand. So like there was one book that I was interested in, but unfortunately it was like a special edition, special signed copy, and it was $80. But I don't know anything about the author, and like somebody else probably really loves that author. So like, why not let them have the opportunity to get the book? Like, I'm not going to preemptively buy something for $80 that I don't understand why it's so special. So why don't I let somebody who does get it? That's just how I feel about that personally. It's unlikely that I think I would find that being the only bookstore I went to in a day. You know, it's kind of like the Trader Joe's of bookstores in terms of like grocery stores. Like, you can never go to Trader Joe's and that be your only grocery store you go to. You have to go to a Kroger, a Publix, a Walmart. You have to go somewhere else if you go to Trader Joe's. That's like kind of what this place was like. Those were all of the bookstores that we went to for the day. What was your favorite of the day?
Even though Sammy didn't buy a book there, it gave me the best vibes. I would go back there right now. And we might go out of our way to go there. Daydrift.
Oh, it was just, the coffee is so good. But I'm getting a 20 ounce if we go again. Oh. I'm getting a big coffee.
Big girl coffee.
But
it was so fun.
I think my favorite was, I think it might have been Old Town, the first one we went to. I think my final ranking goes in 5th place, Second Story. 4th, Lost City. Oh my gosh, I think I just gave them all in the order that I would rank them. 3rd, I would go Daydrift. But if we were putting Daydrift in like a coffee shop contest, it would be number 1. I mean, and then I think I'd go Friends to Lovers, and then I would go Old Town Books. So in the order I gave them, that's my final ranking. I had so much fun.
Yeah, that was a great day. And dinner. Ended with a good dinner.
Let me know if you have gone to any of these bookstores, or where we need to go to in terms of bookstores next time we're in the DC area, because I love checking out the local bookstores and supporting local businesses.
Smell good.
Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy reading.